Hey, welcome to People Think About It. We have a great topic today of what is it like to the difference between a kind person and a good person, whether it's relationship wise, man wise, woman wise. We want to try to get some kind of feeling, understanding of how you guys feel. What's the difference between a kind person and a good person, or is there any difference between a kind person and a good person? So let's start this thing off, by saying that we got all kinds of people that we deal with in the world, and in dealing with those people, you are the one that makes the decision whether the person is kind, good, or however you want to put them in there. So let's just start this off. What do you think about this kind person, good person? Let's go. Let's talk about it.
I think a good person is someone that just has a good spirit. They good all the time. I think kind, to me, when I hear that, I hear like conditional, like they can be kind to you when they want something, as you stated, or kind to you because they feel in a good mood. But a good person is just a good person all the time. That's what I think.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things is that we read in the capture was that kind doesn't always last. Mm-hmm. Kind doesn't always last. It's basically some of it is saying that it even says nice can be falling short to what you really need. Mm-hmm. So nice, kind, and you get into these words, nice, kind, and good. And I think that you have to define what that person means to you. Right. Whether you accept them for their niceness, their kindness, or their goodness. Because, people always talk about the goodness of a person. Mm-hmm. But you can also say, same thing with, nice. Are you being nice to me because you want some? Are you being good to me because you want some? Are you being kind to me because you want? So I think it's just how you approach it and look, and knowing that the person that you're dealing with, to determine whether they're kind, nice, or good. Because it can have all kinds of effects. Because just reading some of the captions is that man gracious can be ways of bargaining and right condition to get what he wants from you. So. Whether it's a male or female, their kindness, goodness can be conditional to what they're seeking out of you. So how do you feel about that, Ms. Dominique?
No, I mean, I feel like that's very true. You can be a good person, right? And you can be nice, like Sadie said, conditionally, right? So, say for instance, today I say, "Hey, Lamar, I wanna buy you a steak. I wanna do that. I just want to do something nice for you, right? But is there an intent behind that? Oh, because I'm about to ask you for $100,000 later on, so I'm gonna buy you this steak to kind of fluffy it out. You know what I mean? Right. So it's like, now as a good person, I could just say, I really appreciate you and Dorshell. I want to take y'all out because I appreciate y'all for being in my life, and that's just in the heart of me, the goodness of me. I'm not looking for anything. I am just showing my appreciation, right? So. In that, and I with the comments and the caption and things like that, when we're talking about good and nice and things like that, you do have people that are nice people, but that doesn't mean that they give you what you need. Because somebody can be nice to you, especially when we're talking about relationships. You can have a nice person, but they're still not fulfilling the things that you need and that you desire out of a person. They're just a nice person, or they're just who they are. They're a good person. You accept them for that, but that still doesn't say, hey, you check all my boxes.
Right, because it's like you can be in a relationship and everybody around you saying, hey, that's a great guy, or, she's a nice person, you know what I mean?
Right.
But like you say, in the condition that I'm in, I'm dealing with this person on a daily basis and they're not fulfilling me to all the things that I need, but they're still a kind, good, or nice person,
exactly.
But...
And I think that's what, now it's, fine, Mr. or Mrs. Nice Guy. You want that nice person. Because we got so many toxic relationships. We know that, right? That's the fun times, right? As they say. So, being that you want to come out of that and be with somebody that's nice, but does that nice person check all your boxes, and then in turn, does that nice person have ulterior motives as to why they're even being nice in the beginning? Have they already seeked out your situation to see how they can manipulate it to their liking, how they can manipulate you and play with your mind? Because now this is what we're looking at. It starts to get deep at that point. Right. So now, in turn, this nice person is no longer a good one.
Right, because in this caption it says a nice person. I'll put it that way. A nice person are searching for validation. Saying nice people are really searching for validation, but validation of what?
When I read that, I was like, that's perspective wise, because there's some people that's just naturally raised to be nice. And I don't think that they're looking for validation from anybody, unless someone is doing it for a motive, with a motive behind it. But there is naturally just some nice, kind people in the world.
Right. And that's why I'm saying you have to step back and look at your situation and the people that you're dealing with. Because, it's often, my way I deal with life in dealing with person is like, if it's not from your heart, don't do it.
Exactly.
Because your heart, you brought into this world pure, and we get corrupt as we go on through life of the different people we around and the different things we hear. And in the same token, you still got a heart, I don't care how mean you are, how mad you get or whatever, but you still have a heart. And your heart kind of leads you to say, you know what, hey, I feel bad about doing this, or I feel bad about using it. I was nice to them, but I was, like you said, I was nice to get what I wanted out of them, but your heart makes you feel differently about that.
Conviction. But some people don't have that. There is really some nasty people too. But I feel like kind people don't always look for a motive. Like they're not always looking for something to gain out of that. And those are the naturally good people. They kind,
I agree with that for
sure.
Good
people can get mad and they can spew things out their mouth that they really didn't mean. But the difference is they feel convicted about, they may apologize. Right. Kind people, sometimes they do things for a reason. They spew things and then they go back and be like, oh, well, you made me. But a good person will feel that conviction, apologize, and keep on moving. Because, again, we have a heart, we feel emotion. Good people get mad.
Right. And then I also feel like when it's stated as far as a nice person will do something as far as validation goes, is because some of them want to be put on a pedestal. Say that I'm good. Let me show you what I'm doing. You see me? You see what? Did you like how I make the bed? Did you like? They're always looking for that. But it's like, okay, so let me just piss you off one good time and let me see how nice you really are. Let me see who you really are. Right?
People pleasers.
Right, exactly. So when we talk about these nice people in the validation, yes, you do have those that are looking for you to say, oh, thank you so much. Oh, yes, you just did a great job. They want to be fulfilled by that. And not saying, everybody's thing is not words of affirmation. Okay, that was on another episode. Go back and look at that one. Listen to that one. But you do want to say, you do want to know that you're doing a good job. But when it's that constant, because what are you really doing it for? Because what happens if I don't tell you made the bed right today, Sadie? What you gonna do?
Right.
You gonna be mad? Grateful.
What you gonna turn up on me? What are you gonna do? How you gonna act? So. You really do have to pay attention to the people and see them. See them even when you're not giving them everything that they need. Are they still that pure of a person? Are they still in any situation? Are they still willing to be that good person, or is it conditional?
Right, because I think a lot of people don't have self-confidence, if you ask me, because we get so caught up into what the world expectations are instead of what your expectations are, that deep down inside, what you're willing to do, how much you can take, how long you can take it away, because we all got to be in this world and there's a give and take in this world. But when you're dealing with, like you said, when you're dealing with a person that always looking for validation, then, are you just being nice because you want this validation? Are you being kind because you want this validation? But like you said, Dominique, what happens if I don't say what you did was so great? Can you still feel so good about what you do that you're not looking for a motive or or this?
Right.
And that's why I say, if you go and do it, no matter what it is, from your heart, it doesn't matter whether somebody validates you or not, because I did it because I'm kind.
Exactly.
I did it because I'm nice, and I'm secure, and I know who I am.
Right.
No matter what you may think, or no matter what you may feel, I know that I did this because it's in my heart.
Yeah.
It's in my heart. It's often like I tell people, like when we deal with Christ from a spiritual perspective, it's called agape love. You do it unconditionally, and a lot of people don't have that unconditional love. They say they love you, but I only love you because of what's happening,
Right.
And
now that's a whole nother topic. Because I feel like love can be. I always put the question as, can love be conditional, and how? Is love really unconditional, as we say it is? But I feel like that's another topic for another.
Well, love is called agape type love. It's unconditional. So meaning that I can love you.
Love.
I can love you.
Okay.
But I can love you from a distance. I see. Love does not always have to be a connection where I'm always around you. I can love Sadie and think she's a nice, kind, good person, but I have to do it from a distance, because if I'm around her every day, that kind, nice, or good person, I'm going to perceive them differently.
Take it for granted.
Yeah. So I
Like
learned
our
to love them.
children.
So I learned to love her unconditionally, but I know who she is. I know who I am.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's where you got to look at it. So love can be unconditional. Because that's what Christ is for us, unconditional love.
We have that for our children, regardless of how bad they can be.
Right, yes.
Like,
how aggravating it
Or
can
how
be.
old they are.
Right.
you know?
It never stops. The
Yeah,
love never
it
stops.
stops.
Right.
Yeah.
Nothing.
And they do all kinds of wicked things.
Yes,
Yeah.
they do.
You know?
Yes, they do.
Yeah,
But you don't stop.
Right.
Don't stop loving them.
You don't. And the thing about it is that as we go through life in these things of kindness and goodness and stuff, we become judgmental of people, because of what we experienced in life. Because if we take those things, it's just like I can remember people, especially when I was in school and stuff, and everybody getting their little cliques and group. Well, Dominique, if you don't like her, we're not going to like her. But what does that have to do with anything?
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean? Because you don't like them, we're not going to. No, that's between Dominique and that person.
Right.
Maybe they did something in a nice perspective, and Dominique saw through that. Maybe they did something in a kind perspective, and she thought, but they didn't do it to me. So why should I hate on that person? But these are the conditions that life teaches us. So as we become older in life, and we start fitting into cliques and groups, and we lose our individuality, because you sit back and say, well, just because you don't like them, they never done me wrong. They never did nothing to me. So I don't have. But then it also goes as deep as that if you do talk to that person now, I don't like you.
Right.
But we've been girls, buddies, and forever. We grew up together. Now because I'm talking to somebody you don't like, now it's a problem.
Right.
You said something so good. You said, and Dominique saw through them. I was going to say that. I feel like you can see through people that's faking it. Like,
Oh,
like
yes.
it's something about
Oh,
it.
yes,
you
you
can see
can.
through people that's faking the kindness. Like you trying too hard to be
Yeah.
kind. Like, naturally good people don't have to try hard to be kind. They're
Thank
just
you.
kind.
Thank you
Even
for
when
hitting
they
that
upset,
on the head.
they're
Thank you.
kind.
It's just like you look at social media.
Sadie
right?
did that, y'all. She hit that nail right on the head. Yes, Jesus. Yes.
It's just like you look at social media. And sometimes I look at it like this. You see these people that call themselves doing kind gestures, and
Yes.
they take it off their shoes and giving it to a homeless person, or you're walking around handing out sandwich. What is the motive?
Why are you showing people?
Right, just do it. If you're
Just
going to
do
do
it.
it, you don't
If
have
you
to
gonna-
record you doing it. Just go ahead and do it.
So
When
that's
I
a
go-
kind,
when
nicer
I go to
person with a
KFC,
motive.
Yeah, I used to go to KFC when I lived back in Jersey because I lived in the city. So, at the KFC, it was always some homeless people. And my mother would just always do it. And one time we went, And I never forget it. My grandmother was in the hospital at the time. When we go to KFC, and she does what she does any other time, she gonna get a homeless person the money that's standing there. And this particular time, she said, he said, I'm so hungry. He came to the car. He said, I'm so hungry. She said, okay, well, I'm gonna go in the line and get you some food. When I tell y'all, we went around that block and around that block several times. We asked the people that was in the KFC. We asked the people that was waiting by the bus. The man just disappeared. I said that was an angel. Yeah. But I'm like, because you are just genuinely good all the time. Yeah. She's not putting it on camera. Mm-hmm. She's not saying, y'all see what I did? She just did it. And this particular time, she did it. And I want to say maybe 2 months later, she went to Atlantic City and hit the jackpot for $150,000.
Mm-hmm. Right. And that's another thing. Yeah. A lot of people got to understand this. No matter how kind, generous, nice, good you are to a person, don't look for that person to reward you. Yeah. Because your reward might... Right.
Yeah. It bothers me. I spoke about that to a pastor on Instagram. He was recording with himself, feeding people, and he got in one of their face and had the camera and was asking her questions. And she was like standoffish, and I literally wrote on the post because I was just sick of it at this point. Right. And I was like, maybe she's not saying nothing because you all in her face with a camera on social media and you don't know her situation. Mm-hmm. He responds and says, why won't you come down here and help feed them with us? And I put a scripture in down. I said, you don't know what I do. And I talked about how you do things in your secret place. You ain't got to have a camera in this woman's face.
And here's the validation part. What you trying to get more people?
They trying to get more likes?
To your congregation?
Yeah, or more likes.
Yeah, you trying to get more, staying in the game of the socials. Like, what you doing?
Look how good I am. Look how good I am.
Yeah, come give me y'all money every Sunday. That kind of thing.
And it's just like the scripture say. When you boast... That is your reward.
That is your reward.
That's your reward. So when you out there filming, when you out there boasting about we feeding these people, I just gave these people my $200 Nikes and stuff. That's your reward. Because you're boasting about it. He said, do it in silence. You move in silence.
Right.
But it's real tricky when you're dealing with people of really trying to define who's good, who's nice, and what does it mean to me. What does this person niceness mean to me? Right. And do I see that they're genuinely nice? Do I see that they're genuinely kind? Do I see that they're genuinely good? Or can I see through
them?
Yeah. And I think that's the part right there. You gotta... I think that comes with discernment. Having discernment, you just start seeing straight through people. It's like, nope. You really do. And you have to, and for me, and because I am very spiritual, I always say in anything, and every day I wake up, please give me clarity and discernment in any situation that I'm in, because I don't want to be blindsided by nothing. I want to see it for what it is. Even if it hurts my feelings, I need to see it for what it is. I need to see them for who they are, because I don't want to be blindsided. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't want to think that this is you're this way. In reality, you're not. So I feel like it's all about having discernment. That helps you see people. Listen. Listen to them. Watch how they move. But pay attention. Pay attention to their track record
their
too.
Essence.
And some people, they give off something ain't right, but I just can't put my finger on it.
It's just like you just said. You saw that caption, you reached out to that preacher, right? And you kind of chastised him for what he was doing, because like you say, he didn't know that woman's situation. And, in part of the quote it says, rejection can be very dangerous. And he may have felt rejected because I'm the pastor. Who you going to tell me what I'm doing? I'm out here trying to do this charity work. But why are you doing it on camera?
And he jumped in my inbox after that and don't apologize to me.
Right.
Like, you don't have to apologize to me, because I didn't argue with him. I just put a scripture on there. I'm not going to argue with you.
Right.
Hit him with that word, Sadie. Hit him with that word,
Sadie.
I
just argue with God, not me.
Okay. Right. And that's the difficult thing people do, because even when you come to them from a spiritual perspective, I know at times when I share what I know spiritually, I tell people, it ain't me saying it. I'm just telling you what the words say. Don't beat up on me.
Right.
I'm just telling you what the words say, and you can take it for the way you want to take it, because you're the one that got an answer to it. But you have to take it and make it what you want. But all I can do is tell you what it says. It says once you boast, that's your reward. You know what I mean? Because you shouldn't have to. I shouldn't have to put it on film that I'm feeding somebody that's homeless. We already know these people homeless. You know, it's just like you go downtown on a part of Peachtree Street, and there's a bunch of homeless people, veterans, and I'm a veteran. I'm an ex-vet. And it hurts me to see these veterans that put their life out on the line for this country, and you sleeping out on the street. That's crazy to me. But, you know, when it's camera time, you have these politicians and you have all these elected officials that want to come around, then they want to gather these homeless people. There's a motive. Yep. You know, are you really good? No, to me, you're not a good person. You're only doing it for one reason. You know, you know, you're doing it to get your numbers up. You know, and that's a lot of things. Like even with the social media, you find a lot of people that's doing things to get their likes up. You know, and that's crazy to me that you manipulate and you really destroy people morally and mentally to get your own satisfaction and get your numbers up. You know, so when you sitting back and saying, well, I'm a kind person, I'm a good person, I'm doing this, I'm helping the people. But at what expense are you doing it?
Right.
Because you're degrading another human being that's in an unfortunate situation.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the crazy part about it to me, that we got to look at this for what it's worth, and you got to look at that, you know, like I said in the beginning, of who you're dealing with. I don't care whether they're a pastor, I don't care whether they're a elected official, I don't care whether they're your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend. You got to understand who you're dealing with.
Always.
And then when you're using that kindness, goodness, and niceness, you got to understand the motive that they're using it in, you know?
For sure, yes. And that's big in relationships too, because I think once you pop that honeymoon stage bubble, you really get to see who you're dealing with. Sometimes a lot of people don't get to see that right away. Some people are lucky enough to see it before it get too deep. They get too deep in, but you got some people that they just in it until you say, you're not my person. Yeah, not even that, but you're just not a nice person. You may be a good person. I may be able to, you know, call you and you'll come and fix my tire, but you're not a nice person.
Yeah, but let's look at it in this perspective. What about if you are a good person? Let me just use an example. Like me and Dominique went walking this weekend. It was really cool. And I'm a giver. So I'll give you my shirt off my back. And so we actually saw some people at the park, and they was doing a little thing on juice. And I wasn't expecting anything from Dominique. But Dominique was like, hey, I'm going to buy 2. Here you are, one Dorshell. And I was like, oh my God, nobody ever gives me anything. I'm always the giver, the first person, other than my husband. Now, don't look at me crazy. I'm talking about like your circle friends.
Right. Well, let's get that clear, because they might think I'm one of these kind, good, and nice people.
Funny.
Okay.
Lamar does take care of a lot of things. You do.
Okay, thank you.
At the end of the day, but at the end of the day, I never, you know, a lot of my friends that I hang out with, they may not even buy me lunch. They be like, we going out to lunch, girl? You like, is she gonna pay for my lunch?
Right. And see,
I'm the person that will pay. You're like, I got you this time, girl. I got you. Right. But then, much is given, much is received. That's my motto. And then there's been a lot of women or female or friends or guys or whatever have been hurt by people. Like, if I've been consistently hurt, I don't want to tarnish my good heart because I've been hurt and not receiving from somebody else.
And that's why I said you ask for discernment when you're dealing with any type of situation, whether that's a relationship or friendship. See, I know at the end of the day, I could buy you a juice. Like, it ain't gonna hurt me to buy you a juice. We walking outside. Why would I not get you? Why would I get me a juice and not get you a juice? Like, that's crazy.
Like, oh, you wanted one?
You know, I'm just having a good time. You know,
some people are like
that
because they've been hurt. A lot of people have been hurt trying to be a good giver, right? Yeah. And I'm so glad that I'm not that person, because I've give sometimes to no end and then never receive anything. But I always feel like much is given, much is received.
Right, and maybe you didn't receive it from them.
Right.
But you may have gotten it there.
And that's what I'm saying. It comes from someplace else.
You may have gotten it somewhere else on the back end. Because, I mean, that is me in turn. I just, anybody will call me, they say, oh, I'm going to come to your house. I say, okay, what you want to eat? I'm a cook for you. You know, that's me. I want to make sure when you come here, you feel at home. That's how I was raised. So for me, I'm always giving. I'm always doing and doing and doing. And I'm never like, give me something for what I'm doing. Like, if that's the case, I might as well just go work down at the restaurant. At least I know you might give me a tip. At least I'm looking for something at the end of the night.
Right, you know, and another thing is this, and I've had this conversation several times with several people. And people think it's selfishness, but you got to support those who support you.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
You can't get out there. Yes. You can't get out there and keep supporting everybody, and nobody's supporting you. Eventually, like Dorshell said, you're going to have that hurt feeling.
Yeah.
Now, the person that's being genuinely kind to you, the person that's being genuinely nice to you, the person that's being genuinely good to you, you're not even going to trust them because you've been damaged and hurt so much. But you have to learn, support those who support you.
Yeah, but at the end, but also too, it's like you can. That's probably why a lot of times people are looking for validation because they don't get it from the people that they should be getting it from. So yeah, you may be like, how many times I got to tell this dude that, you know, he made the bed up good. Mm-hmm. But guess what? When he hits that road or he's out there in the streets doing his thing to make that money, nobody's telling him you're doing a great job. You know. Or whoever. I really appreciate what you're doing here in the office, and I really love that you do this and do that. So when I get home, I would like to hear that, right? Mm-hmm. So if my counterpart is not saying, "Baby, I love the way you put dishes in the dishwasher," thank you so much for taking the dishes out. I'm doing my laundry.
I'm the kind of person. I'm the kind of person like this.
Come on, not every day.
I'm the kind of person that that when you're in a relationship, marriage or a long-term relationship with a person, or you're trying to build a relationship with a person, it's about getting to know who that person is.
Exactly.
It's about getting to know their habits, their way. And you know what? Like you said earlier, Dominique, there are some people that need validation all the time.
Yes.
But then you always say opposites attract. Then you got a person that don't need it. So the person that don't need usually don't hand it out. Because I have so much confidence in myself of what I'm doing. Why do you always need to be validated? You know what? I told you. I like the way you're doing it. But then 15 minutes later, you want to hear about something else you did. You want to be validated. 5 minutes later, you want to hear something that you're about. And you know what? When you don't know that person that you're dealing with, then that person that does not need all that validation start getting irritated and agitated. Yeah. Now you got this mad person on you because it's like just do it.
If you gonna do it, then you gonna do it whether I say you did a great job or not. If you put them dishes all facing the same way in the dishwasher and you knew you did that, then no, I'm gonna walk away and push that button and say I did that and walk away.
Exactly. I'm like that because it's nothing wrong with validation.
But sometimes that mean we're saying this in a joking way, but sometimes people, you think you've done the right thing and you push that button. The next day, your significant other be like, "You didn't stack this dishwasher, but for darn." And
I kindly turn and say,
but
then you should have did it.
Right.
If you ain't
the
think
thing
I
is
did
about
it, how about you flip the plates to the right,
here's
to the left,
thing.
whatever.
Like you say, if you put all them dishes in there a certain way and you hit it and them dishes clean, I don't care whether I put them in there, they clean. And you know what I mean?
Exactly.
But you got to have enough confidence when you're something. Well, you know what? They clean.
The next time.
They clean, and if they wasn't stacked in there the right way, next time you do them.
Exactly.
But you got to move forward. You can't let that beat up on you.
Exactly.
Because if you didn't do the dishes right, then like say, if you didn't make up the bed, then you always look in the bed. And then sometimes what people have to realize is this: the person you looking from validation from, it may come from something else. Or somebody else. Mm-hmm. It doesn't, because I just truly believe this. No one person can fulfill everything you need. I'm a strong believer in that. No one person can fulfill everything you need. And that doesn't mean you go out and cheat on them or do whatever the case may be. But they just can't fulfill everything you need. But I do believe God puts people in your life that empty spot, there's a person to fill it, whether it's a girlfriend, whether it's a family member, whether it's your children or whatever. I think that God, like Like, if I'm not a person that always validates you, maybe your mama call you, hey, you know, with da-da-da, and I'm glad to hear from you. That's validation. Yeah, you want to hear from your mate, and it doesn't come across all the time, but I believe that there's people put in your life for those empty spots to make you, uplift you. I do believe that.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, go ahead. I think
go ahead, Dom. Go ahead.
Okay, so I wanted to say, okay, I remember a time in my life that I was really broken. And like you said, Dorshell, like, people get hurt. So if Dominique would have brought me the juice, in my mind, when I was broken, I would have thought, what's her motive? Why would she buy me?
Exactly.
So let's talk about that. When you got good people, but you don't think they're good, or you think they're faking it because
you've been broken.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay,
And that's what I was saying earlier.
Yeah.
Because we all have been hurt. Like, I can give you tons of examples of hurtness, right? Because we all have, as women. I think we're so strong, but we're also so vulnerable.
Delicate.
And people should handle us with care. Also, men are too. Yeah. I mean, we can't forget about our men, because they're out there trying to get it, right? And we have to appreciate them for whatever the heck. If they want to be validated when they come home, jump on them. It validate them, because everybody needs that. We cannot sugarcoat that you don't need love from that person.
True.
Yeah, okay. If you don't give it to me, I know John can give it to me. I know that this person can give it to me. I know I can get it from this person. But that's, that just sets you up for failure.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think that when Dominique did that gesture of love, I was like, wow, I never get that often. And so I actually replayed that, right? So, and I feel that's why I feel like much is given, much is required. Because if I'm going to be getting from somebody, I'm definitely going to be giving something back.
But it goes back to what Dominique said earlier, is asking for that discernment of the people you're around. Because if you ask for that discernment of the people around, even if you're broken, you still asking for that discernment of people that you're around.
And clarity.
And it will let you know. Guess what? It'll let you know. I know Dominique doing this because she got a pure heart. We met out here. You know what I mean? It's 90 degrees. I'm gonna buy
110 degrees.
I'm gonna buy a juice, and I'm gonna sit there and watch Dorshell sweat.
Because this strong, right?
Or like they say back in the day, you want to swig.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, no, like you say, hey, you know what? We're building a friendship, and I'm letting you know that I'm this pure, kind, good, just the person. I do this from my heart. You know what I mean? And I want you to be able to share that with me. Hey, I brought it. Hey, Dorshell, this juice tastes good. Here, I'm getting you one. You know what I mean? And if you out there, and whether the drink costs $3, $4, $5, and that's all you can afford, right? To me, I wouldn't even buy it. I just say, because if I can't buy you one, I'm not going to buy myself one. That's just who I am.
I mean, and then we don't even have to talk about monetary. It's like one day I was hanging out with a girlfriend, and we went and walked Stone Mountain. And I did not drink any water prior to going to Stone Mountain. And it was hot, and you got to walk up a mountain. That takes up strength and all that, right? So as I'm getting up the mountain, I felt fatigue. I was like, okay, I'm getting ready to pass out. I know I am. And she saw me getting thirsty, and there was this guy that had this big old canteen of water. Stranger. So I was like, I got to get some water or I'm going to die. So I politely asked him, hey, can I get some water? I can do backwash. You can just throw it. Yeah, I'll hold my head back, and we don't have to touch the thing. Just throw me some water, because I think I'm going to pass out. Yeah. And he did, right? So it's not necessarily monetary, but there are good people out there that will help you.
And you can block your blessing, too, because you said you felt like Dominique gave you that juice, so you had to repay.
I feel because that's how I am. That's how I'm wired.
But you shouldn't always feel that.
Not when you dealing with a
right. Because I wasn't like, the next time you better give me some.
Right.
I didn't.
I understand that.
Yeah. Because, again, when you're just doing it from the kindness of your heart, like, I could take a prime example. So I work in tech, and I'm always dealing with raging people. People are spending big money, and I get it. Because I understand on the back end, I'm complaining about the same stuff they complaining about as a customer. So I'm on the phone today, and I was telling my friend, I was like, this has probably been the longest day I've had in the last 3 months, because people don't just call and just scream at me. And because I'm not on the phones like that anyway, I don't have that interaction with the customers like that anyway. But anyway, so I'm talking to the lady, and I'm trying to bring her down. I'm trying to, in this, like, level this conversation out, and I'm trying to help her. I'm like, ma'am, I understand y'all had an accident. I'm trying to get you this footage. And she's telling me about giving her money back, and she's going to go to the Better Business Bureau. And I'm like, ma'am, all I want to do is help you. God, like,
but
lady.
it's probably based upon that somebody else didn't put it through.
I mean, and I got it. And I know, I understand, because she's telling me about the salespeople and this and that. And I'm like, I understand. I can't go into details because this call is recorded. But I'm telling them the same. Stop lying to these people. Stop selling them these dreams. Stop doing that.
Right.
Because then I'm the one on the back end that gets those people that are angry.
Yeah.
That they stuff not working. Somebody then died. And now, it's a whole situation. And it's like, God, all I want to do is help you. Ma'am, I know you frustrated. I know what you've been through, because I go through it too. I just want to help you. I'm not looking for a pat on the back. Even if you give me a 1-star after this call, I just want to know that I helped you.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
You know? Because, I mean, you might
That's your job, though, right?
That's my job.
Yeah.
And you might be pissed off at the product. It's not me, but I just want to know that I at least helped you.
Yes.
And that's just me being who I am. I'm not looking for anything. I just want to know that I was able to help you.
And in your position, you have to be all three of those: kind, nice, and
Yeah,
good.
every day.
You
Whether
got to be good at your
or not.
job. You got to be
Yep.
nice to the people. You got to be kind to them.
Right,
You know
now
what I mean?
I'm strict now. I'm kind of rough. She did get a little hostile, and I was like, let me tell you something. If you're going to keep yelling, I'm not going to help you. I'm trying to help you.
Right.
Because you can't be cussing at me, and you can't do all those things and then expect me to still help you. I'm
Exactly.
still human, too. But that still, in turn, even with all of that, I still wanted to help her. I said, well, you know what, ma'am? I'm going to send you an email. When you get your truck, call me. I am willing to still help you.
And another thing is the point that Dorshell brought up, that when you do something for somebody, you feel like I got to repay them because they did something for me. And when you do that, I just feel like sometimes, I'm not saying all the time, sometimes you didn't do it from your heart, because if you naturally do it from your heart and you know who you're dealing with in that discernment, I ain't got to pay them back because they did something for me.
Well, what happened was I ended up getting all the leftovers. The last sale, I sold them out because I got all of them. So I called Dominique. I was like, girl, I sold, and she saw it on Instagram.
Yeah.
So I was like, girl, I got you because I got an extra one, so I got you. It wasn't anything like I got to pay you back.
No, I'm not saying that incident.
But I'm just saying that
what we're not saying is that
internally you felt as if you had to pay her back. So I get what he's saying too. I get what you're saying. But sometimes when you have not experienced that, you feel like, oh no, I have to pay this person back, and we can do it unconsciously.
Yeah,
because we're so used to that.
Right. And what you may have been through, right?
Yeah.
Because you feel like, okay, well, because they did something nice to me, I got to do something nice for them. And for me, honestly, girl, I drank my juice and I was fine. I was like, that's great.
And that's the biggest thing for me in today's world, is finding genuine people.
Yeah.
People are so not genuine. I mean, like, it's almost, and I get what you're saying, Dorshell, because it's almost like everybody got a motive.
Yeah.
It's almost like,
yeah,
I'm doing this, and then you looking at them.
Sideways.
Yeah, why are you doing this? Right?
Well,
What's
I
your
never
reason?
have ever done that though.
I've
I've never been the type of person
yeah.
that's like, well, wait a minute, why they always?
I've been like that.
I've
And
never
I think everybody has that in them. I mean, that it's just like if you, like you say, you in Walmart and some dude walk up to you and just start, you like asking yourself, what is this person's motive?
The only time I do feel a little leery about people walking up on me, it's like, wait a minute, they saw me get out of this car, I got this purse.
See, what they doing?
What they gonna get ready? They gonna hurt me?
Right.
But I never look at it as like, what does he want from me? It's like, don't hurt me. You know what I mean? Like,
still,
I want to get to get home safely.
What's your motive?
What's your motive? Yeah.
It was this lady. I'm trying to look for her, so I hope that this podcast
finds her.
Yes, her name was Robin Roberts, and she was my therapist. and she was just so kind, and I was in like a really broken place in my life, and she was like overly kind, and I was like, she wants something from me. Oh, she just feels sorry for me because I'm black. Like, I was trying to come up with all these things, but she was, now that I'm older and I'm healed, I realized that she was just a naturally good person. And I was kind of like, because I was a teenager, so it wasn't like I went out and tried to find her. It was forced on me. But now I never got a chance to apologize for how like defensive and just standoffish I was with her, because I realized there is really
good people in the world
here.
Yeah,
you know,
and she was one of those people.
And then that's what it is. You have to distinguish what's the difference between a good person and a kind person.
Yeah,
or
I
a
mean,
nice person.
it is.
But each person, the kind or the good person, can snap. I mean, you can only take us so far, and it's like, wait a minute, I have tried to understand. I've tried to compromise. I have tried to reach that, you know, what they call it, the olive branch. I've done all that.
The good person gonna feel that conviction.
Now I'm getting ready to snap
exactly.
Because now you're okay me for taking advantage of my kindness.
And that's what the difference. That's the difference between being the nice person and being the good person. Because the good, you're always gonna. No situation is truly gonna change you for who you are.
Exactly.
That
That's what
nice
I was
thing. That nice thing go out the window when you don't feel like you've been successful in what you came to get. That's what the difference is. So for myself, and again, because I'm really big on God, please give me discernment and give me clarity.
Yeah,
I've had some nice people in my life, and when I put it out there and I put it in their face as to what it really is, and I say some things that I know they may not like, they're not good anymore.
Right. And I think you gotta understand this. You have to understand this. If you're genuinely a good person, a kind person, a nice person, and because you have to check somebody does not mean that you're still not that good, nice, or kind person. I just had to check this person so they can respect my goodness, my kindness, and me being nice. Because if I don't check them, they're going to always think they can run over this kindness, niceness, and good. You know what I mean? So it's not necessarily I'm being mean and nasty to them. I have to check them. But that doesn't change the dynamics of who I am. I'm still going to be, you know, it's just like somebody that's really a mean, nasty, or unkind person. They're going to be that way with everybody. Yeah. You know? They're not going to just,
like,
you know.
Lizzo, for example.
Oh, yes.
I used to feel so sorry for her because I'm like, she's so kind. She played the victim. And look at all this coming out. And when I hear people talk about it, they're like, well, I could tell she was nasty. I couldn't, though. Like, I always, because of this victim stuff, I always felt sad for her because of her situation. Right. The fat jokes and stuff like that. But
right. When you see that flip side of it,
you like, and then you start to see it and be like, you start to get little glimpses of stuff she did in the past. And be like, that was a sign of her being nasty.
Right. And I'm like, anything that like money, for instance. If you a nasty person and you attempt to be good, it's going to come out full force. When you got that, when you have those platforms, when you have those finances, it's going to bring who you really are out.
But you know, I heard somebody say this a long time ago. And I'm piggybacking on what you just said about money. It's just like they say, if you are a nasty person, you're just a nasty person with some money. Yep. If you're a bitter person, then you just a bitter. And guess what? That's going to make it more pronounced because now I have money.
And I can do
it. So I feel like I can talk to you any way I want. I can treat you any way I want because I have money. And money only pronounces and make who you really are come out.
Yes.
You know? So if you're that kind person, you're going to be kind with your money. If you're that nice person, you're going to be nice with your money. If you're a good person, you're going to be good with your money. Right. But if you're nasty, all that money, you're still going to be nasty. You're still going to be nasty no matter what. And you can't disguise it. You know, I just feel like whatever you are in life, and especially like you say, Dominique, when you ask God for discernment, people cannot hide that. No. They can't hide it. I don't care how much they try to do it or whatever. They can't hide it, you know. And you can sit back and pray for them and want the best for them, but until they want the best for themselves, until they really want to become that kind person, that nice person, that good person, they're going to be that nasty person in disguise of kind, good, and nice. That's what they're going to be.
So how do you feel like, personally, I feel like people that are good people, I feel like they lead with love. The common denominator of all things is love. Regardless if it's unconditional or whatever, it's just love. Like, I know I was like, my boys turning 18, and I was just like really going through it with him. And I had to literally get in my prayer closet and say, Lord, what do you want me to do? And I literally heard the Holy Spirit say, lead with love. And I tried to fight it. Like, I do love him. I feed him. I tried to fight it. And the Holy Spirit said again, no, lead with love, the way you talk to him. All of that. And I feel like being a good person, you have to lead with love.
Yeah.
Right. Because as parents.
You have to.
Because as parents and having children, and I'm probably a victim of it too, is do as I say, not do as I do.
Exactly.
So when you chastising them or telling them something, you sometimes you don't even realize you're being harsh to them or how it's coming across to them. All you know is, I'm your mama, boy, go do this, and I ain't trying to hear no cop. So when he talking about lead with love is, you know what? Hey, did you clean your room up today? And if he, said, Mama, I get to it. Well, I would really appreciate
well,
if
let me
you
help you. Let me help you clean it up.
Let me help you.
Let me show
questions
you.
Instead of saying, you gonna do this, you need to. Now I say, what do you want to do with your life?
You need to help me.
What do you want to do with your life? And I feel like even being a good person, like with me, you, Dorshell, Dominique, like, how do we approach each other? Are we leading with love? Are we side-eyeing? Like, that's what makes a good person, is leading with love. Regardless.
I'm like DJ Khaled.
Together, like,
everybody got to sit back and want everybody to win.
I walked into the Dollar Tree and somebody was like, Dorshell. Who knows me? Who knows my name for real? So I was like, wait a minute, did I really hear that right? I had to double back, and it was Sadie. And I was like, hey, girl, for real, because, that just shows you somebody else loves you out there in the world that you didn't even, I wasn't even expecting that. You know what I mean? But it did feel good. I appreciated your shout out. But
I was like, ooh, I said that.
But you know what? People, like I said, we live in a society that,
it's
people,
a different world for real.
But people should, when you really love somebody, you want to see them win. You really want to, at any cost. You know what? Do I need to get out here and run this base for you?
Yes.
Do I need to come over your house and cook for you? I want you to win. You know what? Hey, you know what? Just like you said, hey, Dominic, you had a stressful day. You want me to take Carter for you today? Because I want to see you win.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Hold your hand and never let go.
Your village. You're building your village. Because everybody,
But that's when, as Sadie said, leading with that love. And when you don't have people leading with love, and they're leading with motive, it's completely different. Jealousy. Thank you.
That's the scary thing. Especially
with
female friends, establishing friends as a grown woman is the hardest.
Yes, it is.
I think it is.
So now I got a question, because I'm sitting here, I'm the only guy, and there's 3 women. So my question, because you just brought up a good point. In this kindness, niceness, and goodness that we talk about, in an indirect way, who in dealing with females and males, who do you think is more vicious with it?
Females.
Yeah, my thing is, if you sat down and you got to know me, like me, you really got to know who I am. If you really know who I am and you did something that you know that ain't even Dorshell, if you did something to cross me and you know me, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm scratching you off my friend
Me too.
list.
I'm like that too.
Done.
And somebody told me that was avoidance.
That's protection.
No, that's an avoidance.
Protection.
You need to learn to set boundaries. I was like, avoid, because I'm like that. I would.
Yep.
Well, I kind of agree with the person about setting boundaries. You know what? I'm not going to disregard you, but this is the boundary. You can't come across this line because
that goes back
because
to
you know what?
Love.
But you know what? See, because you never know what you may need from that person.
Yeah, I get it.
You know what? You might mess around and need a kidney from that person. You know what I mean? But you got so much dislike and hatred in your heart. They be like, no. But I think that
I can see that. But I don't know.
I think you have to set boundaries on people.
But
I didn't like when you talked
like
behind my back.
Yeah.
I didn't like when you did this. And if it happened again, that's when. And I'm learning that as I grow up.
Right.
I'm like, as I age gracefully, I'm learning that sometimes as we get grown, we want lifetime friends. Nobody wants to be 50 and 60 and have no friends. That's not a good feeling.
And when you start getting up in age, a lot of your friends start disappearing because they start dying off and stuff. But this one point I wanted to make, like my daughter used to, me and my oldest daughter talking. Now, like I said, as your children get older, you started having these different conversations with them. And, you know, she went and took a class on bereavement, you know, because she was trying to help people that was dealing with people that died and everything. And you know what? She said, one day we was talking, she said, Daddy, you know what? You have to teach people how to treat you. I was like, that's kind of deep, because
I learned that a long time ago.
we don't really teach people how to treat them. It's like I say, setting boundaries is teaching somebody how to treat you. Like, no,
but
you
then
can't.
they'll get mad.
Well, let them get mad, but the thing is about it is, don't cross that line, because if you cross that line, then I may become this person you don't want me to come, because I told you, you know, it's just like, and I say this, it's just like I have 2 daughters. And I was talking to a buddy about this earlier today. It's just like we take words, whether it's the N word, as they say, nigga, or whether it's the word bitch, and we turn these to words of endearment. They're not words of endearment. Let's be real with ourselves. And you know what? I taught my daughters from a young age, you're not a bitch. I don't care what they say, you're not a bitch. To this day, my oldest daughter, bless her heart, tomorrow will be 45. My youngest daughter is 36. If you called them a bitch, you would have to fight them. I promise you that. Because it was something that I instilled into them at a young age. Because me as a man, and my daughter, I had to be their protector. And I was like, you know, it's just like in society today, we take these terminologies and that's right. And I think that's why it's so much disrespect in the world. That's why it's so much non-appreciation. That's why it's like I feel like I can say whatever I want to you. No, you can't.
No,
you can't. And I think it's because we look at all this social media stuff and
that plays a big part. And I mean, we're not going to be able to escape that, because it's just going to keep going and keep going. And at that point, we have to just be right with ourselves and then the people within our circle. And if they not matching our energy and where we are and how we vibing, y'all gotta go. That's why I said, I mean, I understand as far as what the therapist was saying as far as avoidance, but for me, and my mother said all the time, ooh, you cutthroat. But for me, because I'm such, I will, like Dorshell said, I will give you the shirt off my back, my heart, my kidney, my liver. I will give it to you, and I wouldn't think twice about it if I know that's gonna help you live a day longer. I'm gonna do it. So for me, because I know how I am as a person, when you decide you want to, you don't care about me, oh, that's it, sayonara, I'm out.
So I feel like I do that to avoid being hurt.
Yeah, you're not gonna keep playing with me.
And I think it's okay to be sayonara, but like I say,
but you're not gonna I'm not gonna allow you to keep playing.
Exactly.
Because if you did it that first time, I feel like you're gonna do it again. And I had a long time friend like that, and I didn't understand. Go back to what Sadie said as far as jealousy. We had been friends since the 5th grade. She used to date my brother, and you know, we went through life together. We was 10, and we grew up, and we went to college. We were still friends, and then she moved down here. And I'm like, this my friend. You know, I trust her. She would never do anything, because I know I would do anything for her. Long story short, we had a couples trip planned. Her and her partner, they didn't show up. Me and mine, we was there, and they did us wrong. They took the cabin, they downgraded the cabin, they stole our money, they did a lot of things in this, and then they said they was gonna shoot up our house. At that point, I'm cutting you off, because I'm definitely not gonna give you a chance to try me like that again.
And I totally agree with that, and I don't have a problem. I'm
not creating no boundaries in that situation. You got to go.
But what if they came back and apologized?
No. You stole from me. If you don't have to steal from me.
So if somebody said they're gonna shoot you, you wouldn't take them back as a friend?
No.
Apology.
What I'm saying is, you had the audacity to steal from me. You could have asked me. You didn't have to steal from me. I work hard for my money. You didn't have to steal from me. If you needed it, you could have asked me.
So when they
I
said
might
they're going to shoot your house up
from me, but to say you gonna shoot my house up, that's a problem.
And so you wouldn't accept apology?
No.
For what? And
I think that goes back to the discernment of I need to distance myself from these people.
Yeah.
But I still stand on this. I'm just gonna love you from afar.
I ain't even doing that.
Yeah, but I just think because
I still love her.
Dominique, listen to me for
I
one
see
second.
nothing wrong, but what I'm saying is I don't, and those places because I know.
Let me say this. Mm-hmm. That's probably the most difficult thing in the world to do. That somebody do something hateful and nasty to you, and you love them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But being the spiritual person that you say that you are, and being the Christ-like person that we say that we are, we got to keep loving. We got to keep loving.
I can send you love. I can send you love, but that don't mean
we have to learn
tied.
to do it from a distance. We have to learn to do it from a distance.
I disagree. I'm sorry. I don't. I feel like I can send you love because once I send you out, I send you love. And whatever God got planned for you, that's what God got planned for you. I can't do nothing about that because
but don't you think God wants us to love?
But she do love her. I think
sending you love. That's just how I am. It's not. At the end of the day, I sent you love. I send peace. I don't want to see no harm.
Well, and that's loving them from a distance.
Okay, so
yeah, that's loving them from a distance.
How old are you again?
32.
Okay, so y'all been together for 20 years of your life. Yeah. You love her.
Oh, for sure. That was my sister. You know, she was with my brother.
But now you just know, the boundaries now.
Now right. You know I can't.
And the thing about is this, is that I don't stop loving you, but we ain't doing no more camping trips.
No, we ain't doing
this.
We haven't talked.
You ain't coming over my house.
Yeah, right. In the past 6 years, we haven't.
And I think that's okay. But you know what? If you're walking down the street one way and she walking down the other way, hey, how you doing? Keep it moving. You know what I mean? It's difficult. You know what? That when you look at life, and we deal with this kindness, this goodness, this niceness, and trying to understand who people are, and trying to understand people's motives in life. When we doing all this in our walk of life, we have to have discernment. We have to understand the motive. We have to understand what their motive is. We have to even understand whether maybe sometimes we got a motive, right? Mm-hmm. But we have to understand this. There are people that's genuinely kind. There are people that's genuinely nice. And there are people that's genuinely good. Mm-hmm. And in the midst of that, of those people that's nice, kind, and good, we learn to deal with that. Those people who are not, we have to learn to love them from a distance. And, we have to move through life because they are good, kind, nice, and generous people in the world. Mm-hmm. And you know what? We want you to sit back and we want you to just ponder and think about some of the things that we share with you here today. On People Think About It. Because, we all try to function from our heart. And then function from your heart, I think that you have to have good. There's evil. But I think the good overweigh the evil. And so just sit back, try to understand your purpose, try to understand the purpose that people are in your life for. And, you have to move forward. You have to move forward. So we want to thank you again for listening to People Think About It. We want to thank our guest today, Sadie, our co-host Dominique, and Miss Dorshell. And we just want to say to y'all, no matter what goes on in life, always be that kind, good, and nice person and be genuine about it. Also, you can listen to us at peoplethinkaboutit.com. You can touch out to us at peoplethinkaboutit at Gmail. If you want to be a guest on the show, you want to talk about a specific subject, reach out to us. Also, we can do donations. You can go to peoplethinkaboutit.com and donate. Anybody that donates $25 or more, you get a People Think About It great looking T-shirt. So, we just want to thank you guys for listening to People Think About It. We listen to us every Wednesday at 8 o'clock p.m. And we just want to thank y'all once again for listening to People Think About It.